Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. As always, if you like the videos, don't forget, hit that subscribe button down below and click the bell right next to it. That way you'll know every time I upload a new video and every time I start a new live stream. Today we're doing another Speedy sample review, but it's a special Speedy sample review. We're doing the second of the three of the samples that Dan sent me from Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. If you aren't already following him on YouTube and on Instagram, go check him out. I will link his YouTube page up here and down in the description below. Dan does great reviews of whiskeys, does a lot of good flavor notes, has a ton of knowledge on whiskey, and has a great collection of whiskey, and especially dusty bottles of whiskey. He's put up a few reviews of some great, super old whiskeys. He just put up a review of a whiskey from back in the 1930s. So I've never gotten to try stuff like that, but it's really cool to watch someone else be able to do it and kind of give you those notes and give you some idea of what those things taste like. So definitely go check out Dan's channel. We've got these reviews. As I mentioned in the first one of these that I did, the reason I'm doing these all in a row is that Dan sent them in a little bit smaller bottles than the ones that I use, so I would know that they were his if I had pulled them out of my Speedy sample review batch. So we're just doing all three in a row, and it's the month of Dusty Dan. So I've got the whiskey here. The answer to what the whiskey is in the envelope. I have no clue what this is. He didn't tell me what he sent. I didn't look. So let's pour the whiskey and get into it. So this sample is a bit darker than the last. Yeah, nice amber color on this one. We got a nice deep rich nose here. Pop of cherry, big pop of cherry. Little hints of lighter fruits. Brown sugar, definitely some vanilla. Definitely got some oak here, and I think I even got a hint of like a charred character. Yeah, good deep rich nose. There's definitely like a slight hint of like a barrel char on here. So I think we're in for some interesting whiskey here. Let's get to it. Cheers. Interesting so far. Not incredibly high proof, although I did just shoot the review of the last sample he sent me, which was 145 proof, so God knows if my tongue has recovered from that yet. Let's get a quick sip of water here. There's a little sweetness up front. It quickly kind of turns into a more bitter, more tannic barrel char, and almost like a mineral-like quality. It almost kind of reminds me of like a Dickel whiskey. But only one taste in. Let's see what else we got here. Very smooth. Lots of sweetness up front though. Lots of brown sugar, caramel. There's a little hint of cherry, although it's not as forward as it was on the nose. Definitely got some char character, and like I said, you got that charcoal-y quality to it, or that barrel char, which makes me even more think it's like a Tennessee whiskey like Dickel, because their charcoal filtration process kind of adds that to the whiskey. Definitely finishes without the sweetness, pretty bitter. Left with a lot of that tannic quality barrel char. Get one more taste in here. On this one, I got a little in the mid palate. It's got this big pop of like this red fruit cherry type quality, which was nice. It needed it. I almost want to go back and see if it does it again, because the first couple tastes it didn't do that. And past the front of the palate, it really just turned kind of bitter on you, which wasn't bad, but that pop of sweet fruit really kind of helped balance it out a little bit more. Give one more taste. Yeah, not as strong, but it's there. Kind of mid palate, there's just this little bit of a burst of a fruity character, which is nice. Like I said, it needed that. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what this is. Proof's gonna be a weird one too, because it's very, very smooth on the palate. Very easy drinking, yet after you get it over the palate, there's some residual heat here. So we're definitely not dealing with a low proof whiskey, I wouldn't think. I just don't know how high it is. Maybe we're in that like 100 to 105. Maybe 105 range. I mean, like with the heat makes it feel like it's maybe like 110, but it drinks like it's 95, 100. So I'm gonna say, just to put a number on it, 105 is the proof. Like I said, it just feels kind of like a Tennessee whiskey in the sense that like it's got that smooth taste, that smooth character on the palate. Definitely picking up a lot of char. I don't get as much of that mineral character as I did on the first taste, so maybe it isn't. But that mineral character made me immediately think about the Dickel and their whiskey. So anyways, may not be that, but that's what I got in it. So for me, this is gonna be I think it's good. It's not knocking my socks off at this point, but I'd say it's a very solid, very drinkable whiskey. I think this one needs a little bit more time to be spent with it. It's just got a lot of deep notes that you gotta sort through. But for now, Speedy Sample Review is what it is. We're gonna say this is an 86. I think it's very solid whiskey. Let's see what it is. Got a lot of writing on this paper. This, oh wow, not at all. I was 100% wrong. This is Maker's Mark Private Select, the Perfect Pour. 110 proof. The staves, so if any of you aren't familiar with the Maker's Mark Private Select program, it's essentially like Maker's 46, where you get to, they take their Maker's whiskey and you get to age it, excuse me, for additional time with additional added oak staves put in it. And for the barrel selection program, the people doing the selection get to pick which staves and how many of each. I think up to 10 staves the whiskey will age on. So this particular one was 1 Baked American Pure 2, 3 Seared French Cuvée, 3 Roasted French Mocha, and 3 Toasted French Spice. So I'm wondering if a couple of these are kind of what contributed to some of those flavors I was tasting. I mean, I'm sure that they are. But like I said, this whiskey drinks very smooth. It's very drinkable. The proof, like I was pretty close on the proof, where I was saying, it was in that 105 range, maybe even up to 110, but it drank so much smoother than that. It just had a lot of deep, dark characters, and those are obviously coming from this aging on these staves. So I don't know. I've never had a lot of experience with the Maker's Mark private selections, but what these different staves do to the whiskey. But I'd imagine like the roasted French mocha to me sounds like it would add some of those charry, oaky characters that I'm getting on this. So it's really interesting and really cool. I definitely want to try more of these Maker's Mark private selects. So if you've tried some of these things, let me know what your thoughts are on the Maker's Mark private selection program in the comments down below. Yet again, thank you so much to Dusty Dan. Again, his channel is linked up here and down in the description below. Go check him out. He's a really cool guy and does great reviews. So thanks again, Dan. Very much appreciate it. Looking forward to doing the last of the 3 reviews coming up here shortly. So let me know, guys, down in the comments below, what do you think of Maker's Private Select? And as always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can also catch me on Instagram at Mission Bottle Kill, where I'm posting pictures of people emptying out great bottles of whiskey from all over the world. If you want me to repost your picture, tag me when you make your post. And you can also catch me at blindwhiskeyreviews@gmail.com. That's whiskey with an E. Until next time, cheers.